Good evening, Twitch. How you doing? It's Wednesday, and man, oh man, I'm glad it's already halfway over the week. And thankfully, I also got part of my Christmas shopping done. And oddly enough, I should also mention, I don't know why I did it. I normally don't do these buying mystery gifts, but if you go on Square Enix's site, of all places, they're actually doing a mystery gift, where for about $10, you can buy... They're saying it's about $80 worth of PC games. So this is particularly for people who play PC. You actually go to the site. I think it ends on the 16th, so it actually probably ends this week. So you got about 2 more days to make a decision if you want to throw down that $10. Don't know if there's Steam codes or not. They've been very vague about everything. So I thought, you know what, why not? Couldn't hurt. At the very least, if I do get a lot of repeats, which, I'll be honest, I don't really buy a lot of Square Enix games as of late, primarily due to me not playing a lot of RPGs, or a lot of the games that I do want to play haven't exactly been ported over to the PC. I honestly would like to give Final Fantasy 15 a shot, but I don't want to go out and buy, like, as much as I am tempted to buy a PS4, I'm not completely committed yet. So, I'm trying to think what other interesting news actually occurred today for games. Obviously, Nintendo Switch has actually been throwing itself out there a little bit more. It's been throwing out the private invites, and of course, then there'll be a day for the general public. Rooster Teeth's convention is also going to show the Nintendo Switch. But of course, the real big question is, what is the hardware going to be like? And we know it's probably going to be Pascal's architecture, which is, you know, supporting this generation's or this year's graphics cards. So if you got yourself on the 1000 series for the NVIDIA graphics cards, it's pretty much going to be the same architecture. But I'm still concerned because everything's in the tablet. The device that you actually plug into to have it be on your TVs is effectively, honestly, actually, I'd say it's probably like a capture card, if anything, oddly enough. Which actually makes it interesting, like how, I don't even know if you can actually stream from a Nintendo Switch, and I think that's something a lot of streamers are actually going to be kind of concerned on, is how exactly, you know, they'll find a way. They'll find a way to stream it, but it's still really interesting how that's actually developing. But, tonight, we are here to go back to our book here, Stories, The Path of Destinies. And I gotta be saying, you know, after thinking about it, you know, like I said, I really do enjoy simple stories, and, you know, like I said, the major con of this game is that it's, you know, you will replay through a lot of levels. Is it hard? Not really if you've experienced games, but this is a game, like, I could definitely see, you know, I would honestly give this to a child. I would easily give this game to a kid and let them play through it, and I think that'll be, you know, a very compelling and amazing experience if you're, you know, for a kid to actually go through this. And I know a lot of parents and stuff will probably say, you know, it's much too dark, or I don't like the material and such. It's like, no, honestly, you know, I think back to a lot of, like, you know, it's like the Disney stuff. People expect, oh, Disney to be wholesome. It's like, no, Disney's very, very dark. Same thing with, you know, it's okay to be a little bit dark from time to time, and it's, you know, I would say this is actually a really, really good game. If I wanted someone to, you know, play through a game, you know, obviously still rough, you know, it's rough around the edges and such, you know, being an independent studios game, and you never get that same level of polish, or, you know, or that same level of forgiveness as you got from, like, back in the NES days, or back in this, or Super Nintendo or Genesis, where, you know, you kind of knew if a game was, you know, it was playable, or if it was passable. Sorry, I've kind of been watching a recent YouTube video about passable movies, which apparently there's been a plague on, but why don't we just jump right on in here and get to the game. So, to kind of recap real quickly where we left off here, we actually discovered... Oh, did that work? There we go. We've discovered all 4 truths, finally. The hardest one, I'd say, was definitely Zenobia. So we now know our good friend Lupino is a traitor. Zenobia has feelings for Renardo, that's us. The Iblis Stone corrupts anyone who uses it, which is what the ending we got with Zenobia, so she actually got corrupted. And finally, the Sky Ripper core itself is unstable. So, now comes the question. Since all 4 are unlocked, I'm kind of curious. If I just play through the game, will I automatically end up with the final ending? Or will I actually be stuck stumbling upon which is the right adventure? Now, I have an idea on where I want to go for this adventure. You know, my plan... You know what, actually, let's just jump right in here, and I can talk about my plan.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renata knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis Stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing.
Oh.
Of course. Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion, and he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
Well, that kind of spoils it. Okay, I guess I had to rescue Lapino then. If it literally marks my way to the final adventure, I would be shocked.
Renato finally realized that Lapino was a traitor to the cause, and maybe Renato could use that somehow.
Yep. Yeah, so I guess... Oh, that's kind of anticlimactic, honestly. What to do with the knowledge about Lapino's treason? Renato would be foolish to trust Lapino again. He should confront him, or better yet, find a way to use the traitor against his new master, the Emperor. Maybe Lapino could be a game changer after all.
Renato couldn't quite put his paw on when he'd realized Lapino was working for the Empire. He'd never exactly seen Lapino sending coded messages to the palace, but he was sure. The rabbit had been on too many disastrous missions where he was the only survivor, or where he accidentally missed getting on the boat that went down to the abyss in flames. If Renato could prevent Lapino from getting back to the fleet with all the intelligence he'd probably gathered, it might be worth the trip.
Well, I guess we're going straight for the final ending then. That is anticlimactic there. Because my strategy was actually getting the Sky Ripper core. Get the core, complete it. The Emperor would probably get the Iblis Stone. Get Zenobia to join my side. And... I don't know, we'd probably just... We'd take care of Lapino, somehow. We'd probably just kill him. He is a traitor, after all. Traitor to the rebellion. The rebellion I never really wanted to be a part of in the first place. But we were forced to be part of the rebellion. But then again, I guess if it's your first time playing, or once again if you're a kid.
How had they come to this? They'd been on so many adventures together. Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
Let's see. See here. Wrong thing. Oh, and we've just enough actually to get the yeah, alright, let's upgrade this blade.
Slice the wings off a fly in the air. Not that he would. It's sort of mean, really.
I wonder why it put me so far ahead. It's a little odd. Oh, what? go.
But he'd always felt that the rabbit resented him. Lupino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper. Oh, was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
Huh, this is a little odd.
His mother never let him wave his sword around at home. He guessed he was still compensating for that.
A little... Okay. As we're going around in circles. I don't know if this would be a good game to stream in, like, if you're just showing, like, this first part of it, though. I think to really get to show... Yeah, or I could just pay attention.
2 eyes good. 1 eye dead.
What am I, an animal farm? Let's get plenty of ore. Alright, let's jump down. Timmy, jump down the well. I mean, Renardo.
I'll just have a dash, thought Renardo. Ravens were landing everywhere from dropships. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, the rabbit would give the Empire all the intelligence he'd been stealing from the rebellion, and they'd probably give him a medal. He'd have to be very careful about how he played Lupino. At the slightest hint of danger, the mad rabbit would take off like a... well, a rabbit.
Alrighty. I don't think I need more stamina. Wouldn't hurt, though. I guess we can actually just upgrade anything. Storm recovery. Recover from being hit almost instantly and the attacker is knocked down. Interesting. Kick and throw distance increased. Dash through enemies. Inflict damage on hooked enemies. That's not really a lot of damage. Grab damage. Counterattack damage.
Cool. Wish I could do that.
Oh, I apparently have a lot of skill points. Oh, well, you know what? Let's actually just max out our stamina. Seems to be pretty useful. Plenty of energy, at least. Oh, there's Lupino.
Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally reached Lupino. The rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The Ravens are coming. Now, I got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky River was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Isengrim III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes. That was it.
Oh. Well, never mind. Huh. Alright, well, I guess our plan is actually, it doesn't tell us everything then. Huh.
Renato felt like a real hero, brave and smart. He told the rabbit all about the Sky Ripper's God's Eye core. I'll go get the core while you attack Zenobia, he told the rabbit. Oh, wait, I've an even better idea. I'll get the core and you attack Zenobia, said the rabbit. Right, yeah, that is better, agreed Renato. Perfect. The traitor would make sure the Emperor got the core. Now Renato just needed the Emperor to use the core. If he could only get something that the Emperor wanted very badly. Zenobia. He could save her and bait the Emperor at the same time.
This does not seem like a good plan, but it does technically fall into my... No, actually it didn't fall into my deal at all. This is completely backwards. But I am glad, though, apparently, that it does not truly reveal, like, okay, this is the right
Now,
one.
all Renato had to do was fight his way through Zenobia's invading troops, sneak onto her ship and into her bedroom, and kidnap her without any of her dozens of guards alerting her. Then, he would rely on her love for him to convince her how evil her father was, so she'd run away with him instead of going back to her father, who was going to blow himself up. It did sound a little risky. But Renato had a feeling it would work out somehow. It always did.
Oh, and now the way he makes that sound, I'm honestly losing all my faith. I don't think this is all gonna work out at all.
Mustache, thought Renato.
Let's actually get some health back here. Okay, that was disgusting. Not forget about the pots.
Renato, smash!
There we go. Okay. Wow, he had a shield and everything. I was still able to cut through him. Like a hot knife through butter. Delicious butter that you put on cornbread. Ever so delicious. Scrumptious even.
You couldn't hack this kind of firewall. You had to warm it up to you.
There we are. Shield breaker. Interesting. I guess I don't really need anything right now.
It would be fun to try out that one. And here was a handy workbench.
Your hits cause shield grunts to drop their shield. Well, unfortunately, I think I'll stick with the damage. I want to be able to actually do as much damage as possible. Oh, I should be more observant, apparently. Good opportunity to see everything. At least what's coming up next. I think for now, though, I think we'll skip it. We'll jump down. I don't know if this will actually change anything in our adventure. Oh, right, it is.
Not everyone knew how to use magical gems. Of course, not everyone had magical gem gauntlets like he did.
Oh?
Renato was halfway to Zenobia's encampment when Lapino showed up. He was disheveled and distraught. They jumped us. I barely got away. Oh, they got the core. Oh, it was all going according to plan, thought Renato. Now he just needed Zenobia on his side. Yes, that was even better. The Iblis Stone. Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait, no. The gem would corrupt anyone, even her.
Yep.
That's it, he thought. Even Lapino. Even though Lapino was already a traitor. It would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor. He would try to make himself Emperor. And the Emperor would have to defend himself with the core. Boom. He was a super genius.
This does actually sound like a worse plan. This is sounding even an even more terrible plan, but let's send Lapino.
This is terrible, Renato told the rabbit. If only I had gone for the Iblis Stone. But now it's lost in enemy territory. He handed Lapino a map. It gives the bearer so much power. We can only hope the Emperor never finds it. What was that? Said Lapino. I think someone's following us. I didn't hear anything. Rabbit ears. You go on ahead. I'll check it out. And with that, Lapino hopped off with the map.
This still sounds like a terrible idea. Very much a terrible idea.
You never knew where the road would take you, thought Renato.
You don't get a lot of experience anymore, but then combat isn't really all that long. Field Breaker level 2. That's really the same only letter? It is the only letter. Plenty of uses in this workbench. Oh! Nope. Can't believe I got hit on that one. Oh. Alright.
Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. She was curled up on her bed. He'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She was made of smoke, and he noticed he had a very solid blade to his throat. Did you really think you could capture me? Heard a familiar voice. I just wanted to chat, said Renato. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He needs a sacrifice. Someone who truly loves him, to make a bargain with the lost gods. That's a vicious lie. He wants to bring them back. That's crazy. Why would anyone... They could make him immortal. An eater of souls. And with that, her eyes widened. She understood. Renato told her how he had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred. How he had slept in a burnt village. At midnight, the Emperor's victims had come to him in his dreams to tell him of the hideous eldritch rituals they'd been sacrificed in. He could still see those kittens and puppies. Their wide, sad eyes, their moist noses. You can't prove that. I've got a witness at the observatory.
The observatory's destroyed. Sounds like a terrible plan. This plan is getting worse all the time. And yet I'll still be laughing. This actually leads to the ending.
He couldn't tell her, not yet, why he was really here. He didn't want her to be anywhere near the fleet when her father blew himself and the Pino up. So he told her about how the Emperor's obscene rituals had raised ancient artifacts out of the land. How he'd followed the appalling trail of the hideous horrors His Majesty had perpetrated for the sake of his own immortality. Any of this ring a bell? He said. He told me it was all lies. You've always known when I was lying. I always hated that about you, said Renato.
I just became better at lying.
The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renato had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
Making this as sad of a story as possible. Really tragic. Let's see. Remember correctly, this should be the way to go. Ah, here we go. Can I actually... You know what? Chances are probably actually send me to both. Hopefully. You know, it's funny, I criticize the load times at the same time.
You thought?
The only load time, all the load times are basically up front. I wonder what the speedrun record for this game is. Now that I have the instant kill, this game's pretty easy.
Invested in a jewel store, but it lost money because someone kept robbing it. Twist, it was him.
Oh, hey, that's something new. At school, we learned the gospel of the transcendent emperor, the last divinity to pierce the skies. It would banish the evil old gods and grant us the gift of time. But could one man, divine as he may be, create something as intricate as time? I have my own theory. I believe that time is a symptom, rather than a gift. I'm convinced that on a cosmic scale, there's a pendulum motion between order and chaos. The transcendent emperor ended the chaos and started the age we live in, an age of cause and effect, of fact and logic. Time is merely the tapestry upon which these laws manifest themselves. It is the foundation for the order's companion, entropy. But in the age of chaos, when the old gods reign, perception carries more weight than facts, emotions can shape worlds, and time ceases to exist. The age of order is ending. I am merely helping the inevitable. Entropy has been broken. Fate has been breached. The end of time is coming, and I shall embrace it. Emperor Isengrim, 3rd Secret Journal. Well, that sounds absolutely dreadful. That just... Okay, it sent me all the way back. The other game I've been spending some time off playing is Overwatch. I'm actually tempted to go for Master now, because I already have 3,100 points in my skill rank. And going a little bit further, another, what, 400 points? Shouldn't be too bad. Get over here. Oh my god, I'm doing so badly. That fight did not go well, and suddenly physics decided to break. Everything's breaking down.
Don't you think I'd know if my father started practicing black magic? Why? Would you join in? No! I'd destroy his books and I'd... Oh, God. Okay, you're not completely wrong. They've resurrected one of his victims. Well, look, I mean, look, it's not exactly alive, but it can talk. A true witness, she said.
But the observatory's destroyed. Now how can I get her to believe me? Unless they decide, plot twist, the observatory is alright. Which I doubt. What? What? Unreal 4 engine, everybody. God damn it, game. Please don't be destroyed. Oh my god. Why? Oh no. Oh no.
This thing really needed a roof.
Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Oh, what? Tanking all the damage.
Look, it's not perfect, but your mother wears army boots on her ears.
Do enjoy that instant kill. That's pretty OP. That's very overpowered. That's disturbingly overpowered. I wonder what didn't load. That's a little odd. And of course the observatory is destroyed. Not very sad.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The Ravens had taken special care to burn the reanimated witness to cinders. Zenobia stared at the carnage. He didn't want me to hear the witness, did he? I guess not. What's your plan? She asked. So, Renato explained his brilliant gambit. Sending Lapino to get the Iblis Stone, become super powerful and corrupted, provoke the Emperor into using the core against him, thus blowing up both of them, and hopefully the fleet too. Let me visit your council, she said, shaken. I want to help. Could he really trust her?
Yes. Yeah, let's actually trust her.
He'd done it. He'd made Zenobia see how evil her father really was. He wished she didn't feel this urge to join in the rebellion. After all, he'd taken care of the Emperor, right? Yeah, but she'd always been conscientious like that. She told him she had to go somewhere first. So Renato gave her the location of the secret base, and they agreed to meet in the ruins. He had a very good feeling about this.
God, I wish the narrator would keep on stop saying things like that. I have a very good feeling about this. That just makes it worse. Absolutely terrible.
What had Zenobia gone off to do? What was more important than meeting the rebel council? Had he made a mistake, sending her to the ruins? No. He knew they could trust each other. He could trust her because she never broke her word. And she could trust him because she could see right through him. Well, she'd probably be there well before him. She at least didn't have to fight her way through rainstorms of ravens.
Reach the rebel base before Zenobia. Wait, why before Zenobia? Alright, so that's the normal way. So let's go the abnormal way.
Of all the artisans he was creating employment for, truly, he was a job creator.
God damn it. Always the guys that explode. I
He
screw
missed
up on.
her. Not Zenobia. Hypatia, the kid's mother. Renato had never thought he'd date a librarian. He'd always figured himself for the barmaid type. But then, he'd never figured the library of Ubar would have comic books, or that Hypatia would know anything about them. He missed her.
Okay, now you're bringing up this new character. Terrible in this gaming experience. Still need to use my sword's magic a little bit more.
Truth was, Renato really liked the sound his sword made in the air.
Hey, it just makes that swoosh sound. Not so much for that energy. Oh, right. There are a lot of ways.
Renato felt a little bad stealing crafting materials from chests. He preferred to rob them from people at sword point.
Give him some dignity when you steal it all. Oopsie. See where this way goes.
Renato had once read a story where a rabbit went into a portal with a fly and came out with a fly's head. It creeped him out to even think about it.
Huh, I wonder what he got hit by. Probably his explosion.
around the bend, there was Lupino, unconscious on the side of the path. And Renato could smell a familiar, sweet, smoky scent. Who? Zenobia. It had to be. She never used a combat spell when she could use drowsy gas. That meant she had the Iblis Stone. What would it do to her? She hated her father now. She'd kill him for sure. The council wouldn't mind if she killed the Emperor, but murdering her father would destroy her. He had to get to whatever ledge she was on and talk her down from it.
Ah, well,
This
crap.
really didn't have much in the way of safety features, did it?
Well, damn it, I think I screwed this whole thing up. Surprised he was able to get that last hit. There's a note here. This is new. Punish, terrorize, humiliate. The masses have been raising their fists, led by a handful of nobles with too much ambition. It is envy that the power that I seek is something they want for themselves. Are they just criminals who want to steal from us? There is but one punishment for such a crime: death. Make an example of these leaders. Execute anyone who dares following them. Or is it fear that the sacrifices I've been making would extend to them? Is this a war for survival? Show them the true meaning of fear. Strike them fast and strike them hard. Make them suffer. Burn everything they hold dear. Or is it pride? That the meaning of those sacrifices would forever escape their comprehension. They want inclusion. Say in my decisions, this arrogance cannot be allowed. Take those who surrender to the salt mine. Let their lungs fill with corrosive dust. Let them betray one another for scraps of food. Let their children watch as they fall into savagery. End the rebellion without mercy. Punish, terrorize, humiliate. Emperor Isengrim III. War Manifesto. That's a pretty mean manifesto. I guess I can't read this one. Due to the note.
He felt like Tarzan.
Watch out for that tree. Wonder why I can't cut half of these down. Ah, just 11 more ore. Let's see. You have to forgive me, I'm a bit more tired than normal. I actually didn't get to sleep all that much last night.
Say goodnight, Gracie, said Renato, wondering who Gracie was.
There you go. Great, the entire council's dead.
Long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Stronger, bolder. If only he could figure out which.
And we go from one battle to the next. Really? No gem? That's a little odd. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, is that the book? Oh, it's a book.
Everyone in the council chamber was dead. Zenobia stood shivering in the courtyard, drenched in blood. Why? He managed. They started arguing with me. I lost my temper and I wanted their blood. Well, not me. The stone did. Why did you take it from Lupino? I had a plan. You had a stupid plan, she said.
Hey, Negative Pro.
I'm going to go kill my father now. No, you can't. You'll just take his place. You'll become worse than him. Get out of my way, or I'll kill you too.
Well, we're not letting her kill her. But we're gonna have to we're gonna try and stop her. Hey, Negative Pro, how are you doing? Just kind of enjoying this game here. Hopefully, we'll get the final ending. Although something tells me I think I screwed up. I think I screwed up a lot. Thought this was the right way. Apparently not.
You won't kill me, he said. And I won't let you kill the Emperor. Enraged, she raised the sword. You hate him too? He could sense the Iblis stone, yearning for his death. But she didn't strike. If you kill him, he'll destroy you. I know you. Shut up! She shouted, her sword trembling. I won't lose you again. Not for anything. Get away from me, he said, and he was very close. I can't lose you again. And he was in reach of her sword now. I hate him! I hate you too! I love you, he said for the very first time. And then she was weeping. He was holding her. The sword had dropped from her hand. He glanced at the Iblis stone. It was no longer the black of the void. It looked like coal. No. It glowed, like a cinder. It was crackling, burning, crumbling into ashes. You've always loved me, haven't you? She said. She was weak. The stone had taken so much from her. Always, he said. She staggered as he helped her up. Let me take you away. Where? The island of Avalon. The sisters will heal you. He will follow us. Then we need the Farfarer, the fastest ship in the Empire.
Interesting. Very interesting. You just got home, about to start Season 3 placements, so I'm guessing you were talking about Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm? Which placements you gonna be playing through? Oh no, I guess Heroes of the Storm isn't over yet. Or is it? No, it should be over. It should be over right now. So I guess Season 3 would start immediately. Well, this'll be interesting.
The Empire had seized his ship. They'd have to take it back. Where was a workbench when you needed one? Oh, never mind.
Okay, so I guess stars, the max. Okay, that just shows which ones you... Oh, I guess I already have all the gems unlocked. How nice. Heroes of the Storm. Very nice. Ah, at least you can enjoy using Ragnaros now. I'll be honest, I kind of stopped Heroes of the Storm. I don't know if I want to actually do another season. I mean, I do enjoy the game. It still does, of course, have its faults. But I guess it's more how much time I want to invest and where I want to invest what time I have to put towards playing games. Like playing this game here. I've actually been enjoying going through this.
For a little exploration.
It's a nice, simple game. I'd probably actually recommend it if you have a kid and you want them to be able to enjoy a decent game. Let's see here. Let's see. Slow down, more health, more energy. Kick and throw distance. freeze time for everyone. That sounds incredibly overpowered. Oh, okay, right. This actually, now that I think about it, I guess there is no point for me going for any of these chests here. Although I will say, I did enjoy knowing, like, hey, Varian is available to play. Although, he doesn't seem to be that... He has his advantages, but at the same time, I can see...
And there it was, his beautiful skycraft, the Farfarer. Though it fare very far indeed, beyond the Empire, beyond the reach of the Empire, to the mystical island of Avalon. He didn't know exactly where it was, but he knew he could find it. And they would find peace there. Second star on the right, and straight on till morning, laughed Zenobia. And they laughed together for the first time in a long time.
I think also what kind of carries this game, though, even though you do replay through a lot of the levels over and over again, what kind of carries it is the story, is the narrative. I'd say it's actually an okay game to stream, just to actually get your, because it can give you the reaction. And it's something nice to work off of. If you're a cynical person, you can be very snarky. And you can do awesome things like this. Twin Blade Variants is currently the only good build. Really? I think at least the taunt... No, actually, no, what is it? No, I'm surprised, actually. The vulnerability one is not the best one. Where you go two-hander. Because you don't lose any HP.
I always wanted a flying cockpit. This was more like a flying cockpit. It'll do.
Oh, it was perfect. I thought I actually got hit on that one. Because how does Varian, I guess, keep up with the enemies? We might actually get the final ending after all. I was honestly thinking I was going to screw all this up. What? Okay. That was a lot. Didn't mean to do that. Oh. Ah, damn it. Nope! Yeah, the edge. I definitely didn't go the best on that one. Oh, finally got to get over here.
But they did not go unnoticed. Scout ships lifted off, and the long lance of the Imperial flagship. Renato turned downwind to gain speed. The Raven ships could pursue, but they couldn't close. The Far Speaker croaked, "You return her and live!" "Go sacrifice yourself," yelled Renato. then you won't have her either. On the flagship, the Emperor was readying some arcane weapon. It couldn't be. It was the core. A devastating beam lanced out of the flagship. Renato zigzagged wildly to keep the Farfair out of it. Now the Raven scout ships were closing the distance, and the beam was getting closer too. Then came a blinding flash, and the air was searingly hot all around him. There was a thunderous, deafening roar. He could smell burnt oak and burnt feathers and burnt flesh. But when he could hear and see again, they were alive and unhurt. And they were alone in the sky. Zenobia embraced him. They had done it. Through luck and through love, they had won the war. "Avalon, here we come," he said as he held her arms wide in the prow of the boat and let her feel its speed. "Maybe the real Avalon is wherever we're together," she said. And so, after a bit of an argument, Renato and Zenobia went to one of the two Avalons. The one shrouded in mists, or the one in their hearts. But which one they went to, I'll never tell.
Huh. Oh, because that was actually the final ending.
He'd done it. He'd forged his own destiny. Well, he hadn't actually done it. But he knew what he would do. Renato smiled at the book. He practically wanted to kiss it. The kid's sacrifice hadn't been in vain. He'd saved the book and saved the world. Renato owed him and his mother so much. Renato lowered the mainsail and let the Farfarer shoot forward in the breeze. Second star to the right, and straight on till morning. This time, he would win.
So I will say one thing, actually, now after beating this game here. I feel... I don't know, maybe it might just be my simple experience of playing through a lot of the game, you know, just playing through games, just kind of knowing, okay, I think I know which way to discover the truth for this, or I'm curious if the way they designed it is, if any of the other endings won't reveal a truth to this game, because to actually beat the game, you had to discover the four truths, and I basically discovered all those pretty much, through each failure of me playing through, so I very much failed. So Julian Casey, that's the name of the narrator, did a pretty good job. I liked it. A lot of good narrators, honestly, as of late. We got the Hand of Fate narrator, we got the Darkest Dungeon narrator. This guy does a good job. There was also the Stanley Parable narrator. Good ones here. And of course these guys are also from Canada. I swear life is being invaded by the Canadian menace. Too many Canadians I'm getting to know. Or playing too many of their games. I mean, even Dauntless. That's coming up from, that Phoenix Studios company that's making that game. It's gonna be free to play, and from what it appears to be, it's going to be like a free-to-play Monster Hunter PC game, which is good. I'm not against playing I actually want to try a true Monster Hunter game. But that's also being developed by Canadian studio. It's kind of weird. I could see myself playing through this, to actually unlock all the other endings and such. But I'm still curious, though, because this is an easy game. This is not a difficult game. If you have experience playing through this game, or playing through games, you will have no problem beating this game. But, like I said, if the game doesn't let you unveil the truths for each of the endings, I'm curious if there is a way that basically you'll have to play through the game multiple times, where it's not like, okay, just play through the game 5 times and you win. Because that's the thing I'm just curious about. Truth Finder unlocked. The Truth Finder will help you find the paths that lead to truths you have not found yet. Look for this icon when making choices in the book. This option can be toggled in the gameplay options menu. Interesting. Wait, the Truth Finder will help you find that led to truths you have... Oh, so I guess you can. Wait, no. No, you wouldn't be able to beat the game. You would have to fail at least once. Wait, let's actually check that, actually. I'm curious now. Assuming the game actually wants to let me use my controller. Game, do you want to let me use my controller? There we go, thank you. Show Truth Finder icon. Interesting. Hero path completed. Interesting. Yeah, so these are the 4 truths you had to discover, and then these are the possible endings you can get for each of the storylines. And only playing through it once, I discovered a truth. Same thing with, I think this one, which is Zenobia, is probably actually I guess the hardest one, because that was the last one I actually unlocked. But that's because I even went out of my way to do the Iblis Stone and the Skyripper Core. Let's see, what time is it right now? It is... Wow, we'll only beat this in an hour. That's actually surprising. Huh. Well, we've beaten this game here. What do you think? Think we should continue on playing through this game? See if we could discover some other endings, or... Want me to switch on over to Overwatch, or at the very least, I can probably also stop the stream. Because there is that whole Christmas stuff coming out. You know what? On second thought, actually, I do have some projects I actually do want to work on. So, you know what? This is a little abnormal for me. I'm sorry. I normally usually run for an extra hour. But I think if anything, keep playing. You're curious? Okay. You know, I'm okay with that. We'll actually see what this Truth Finder... Although I think I've already discovered all the truths, though. That's the thing.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas.
Well, let's
It was time
play
to
this
choose.
as incorrectly as possible.
The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Skyripper had surfaced. Renata knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis Stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion, and he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
So what you actually see there in the lower right-hand corner there with the text there, whenever you see the icon of the rabbit, the core, or the Iblis Stone, those reveal that you've already experienced that truth, and so that's the narrator effectively giving you, you know, that knowledge, because the book is obviously the thing that's enchanted and letting you effectively not, able to let you live your life multiple times, so you can actually succeed playing through the game. Well, so I'm gonna have to replay through one of these levels here. Let's actually go with my original idea. Let's actually go after the core and see, and let's go from there.
Every child knew about the Skyripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried.
So as you can see, you see the core there in the lower right corner. That's effectively the narrator's lines do change as you reveal the truth, as each of the truths become
there must be
revealed to you.
some way to do it without provoking another catastrophe. Had he somehow summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, He would use it.
So let's actually see how we can fail. Shouldn't be too hard. Considering the one thing that actually showed the real ending is...
As he set foot on the island, Bernardo couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Bernardo felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Bernardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
So, oddly enough, the thing actually following me is the Sky Ripper armature. I don't know why it's here. I shouldn't even have it in my possession yet. And apparently my health carried over, which that's also another criticism I have of the game. And
wow. The sword felt even colder.
There we go. Finally upgraded all the swords. So it's like ReZero where you die and repeat. I've never played that game. I'm gonna have to say yes. But yes, it is through your collective failures that you will eventually succeed in what the story actually is.
Bernardo hated gogglers. It freaked him out to cut them.
What's RE0? I don't even know why I went this way. I guess because I'm used to going this way now. How does that game play?
That had been his mistake before. Not trusting Zenobia's feelings for him. But how could he have known? After all these years of silence.
And of course the game also gives you notes here. Kind of just unveiling the story anymore. It's not a game, it's an anime. Ah, okay.
Or I could go that way, he thought.
Why not? It's the one behind the door. Actually, I don't even know why I'm going. Why am I going this way? I don't need to go this way. Actually, I just realized the Sky Ripper Core is actually attacking them for me. At least I get some help. RE0. Why does that sound familiar? Probably because you said it. Ah, bollocks. Nope, it still counts as actually getting hit. Now we don't need to kill everything.
That was awesome!
Unreal Treasures. Interesting. New achievement. Alright. Oh! Okay. Huh. This is new. Let's see where this goes. New treasure. Unfortunately, I don't need any more ore. Ah. Well, that was a simple puzzle.
See? That wasn't so hard.
I know. Let's get a second Skyripper core.
There it was. Skyripper's
Or armature.
The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded.
Oh shoot, I actually have done both paths on this one.
She must be encamped there still.
Oh well.
But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this...
I already played through this stage again, so I'll have to play through it regardless.
He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
Well, let's actually go. Let's complete the call.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself. Only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices. And he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core.
There we go. Now hopefully the next... it won't be this level. It should hopefully be the next level where we can actually change our path and do something else.
He looked up at the old trees around him. They were so big and so old. They'd been there before he was born, and they'd be there after he'd passed into legend. Was he confronting his own unimportance? What had got into him? He was no philosopher. Anyway, who cares? He was plenty important. He was a hero, and soon he'd prove it.
Huh. Never saw this note before. Dear Zenobia, the director of the Academy has told me how much he was impressed by your academic performance and leadership. Somehow, I doubt this was a session of bootlicking. I've seen plenty of those. That old toad is sincere. I am proud of you, my daughter. I will make a fine empress one day. On my end, great news. Professor Calaveras has been studying the Nexus, and he had made a bold observation. That toad is a true genius. You know how that island is unique. Constantly changing, new crystalline formations appearing, islands fragments merging, splitting, slowly drifting, held together by some invisible threads. Professor Calaveras is convinced that these changes are not random, but rather indicative of the living nature of the islands. He has observed that certain changes on the Nexus follow, or sometimes precede, a turbulence on another island. Landslide, quake, flood. The Nexus seems to resonate with those events. Maybe the islands are a hive mind, and the Nexus is the brain. In any case, I am funding a permanent scientific observatory on the Nexus. It will attract the Empire's greatest minds, with Professor Calaveras at the helm. I anticipate a great age of enlightenment for the Empire. With love, Father. So, Zenobia, the character there, she is the adoptive daughter of the Emperor.
Goblet for a pet.
So you can throw it whenever you see. This game has, like, I would say the combat system in this game, although you do become incredibly powerful in this game. It's very much like a more simplified version of the Arkham-style combat, I'd say.
You almost never saw wild gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. So these are to be imperial gogglers. That meant ravens were up ahead. There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
And of course you can't use the sword's magic, that'll actually cause... For this one here, it's ice, so the enemy will actually freeze. And also apparently make them explode into a million pieces. But each of the swords do something, so the basic one here, this actually will steal health.
Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
Oh, okay. There we go. Whoops. Ugh. A bit smoky. Hey, Castatino, how you doing? How's it going? Well, we've already beaten it. We have beaten the game, and now we're just seeing if we can discover any of the other endings. Well, I will say this core is absolutely insane. But we already... I'm afraid you have missed the ending of the game. But fret not, you can watch me fail. And there's the core.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
So the exclamation point there will basically show a story or a path I haven't taken before. So both actually originally had the exclamation point, so I obviously took it to the scientists. But now, I'm just going to attack the outpost outright. Test it out, see what this weapon does. Shouldn't be too bad. Figured you might. Holiday hours in retail. That's unfortunate.
Renato had never been much of a student. At Swordfu School, he'd never read the books, just looked at the pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons he understood. His gut told him that the Skyripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists, right? Renato actually could think of a few things that were worse. But he would make sure they didn't happen this time. Right? Exactly.
So we basically stumbled Castatino into getting the final ending, which I gotta say, is like, I don't want to say it was obvious, because it wasn't, but at the same time, it made me kind of think, like, okay, am I actually making the right decision? Because I was kind of disappointed. It's like, oh, it's showing me the final path. Huh?
As he set out down the path, Renato wondered why the parts of the Skyripper had only surfaced now. Thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had discarded it, this Emperor, Isengrim III, had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Perhaps that was bringing up lost artifacts. How perfect, then, that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction. And hopefully this time, his destruction.
What did I think of the ending? I liked it. You know, it's a basic,
Imagine if you built a house on one of these things. Oh, that would be amazing. It would be like having a boat.
I liked it. You know, like I said, I do enjoy, like, simple stories, simple games. You know, I know a lot of games these days they try to do too much. And by focusing, you know, the game definitely played its strengths. And if you know what you're getting into, like, okay, you're not gonna be, you know, the game in terms of mechanics, in terms of the gameplay is passable.
Follow my nose, thought Renato.
But it's very lighthearted, and, you know, I don't really get to play many lighthearted games as much anymore. So, you know, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. Nice, simple game. It's good that, you know, it's good that you see games like this appear. Could use a little bit more polish, absolutely, but from what I understand, it was Spearhead Studios' first game in the Unreal 4 engine, so... and actually possibly their first game at all. Nope. Get me out of here. Although I will say, having this core here do all the fighting for me is pretty interesting. That didn't happen the first time I played through this, that's for certain. Just want to see if I could actually, how much I can actually screw up
He was
the endings.
tired of slaughtering ravens. Maybe it was time to test out the new weapon. He turned a knob on the Sky Ripper. It made strange, mechanical noises. The wheels spun faster. It began to hum. The Sky Ripper was following his every step. At least it acknowledged him as the master. But there was no trigger. How was he supposed to fire it? Fire, he said. Nothing happened. Well, maybe it just needed to warm up. After all, it hadn't been fired in thousands of years.
Seems to be working fine for me. We've already upgraded all of our swords, so we don't even really need ore. What? Having a miniature Death Star.
The Sky Ripper was making a whining noise now, and its wheels were spinning so fast he could no longer see them. Renato had a thought. Please? He asked. The Sky Ripper began to glow. Boom! The outpost burst into flame. Ravens flapped out screaming, wings on fire. The base was his. The far speaker toad came hopping out. Renato! It croaked, sounding like a toad version of Zenobia. Don't use the Sky Ripper. It will destroy the world. Yeah, sure it will, cracked Renato. Pull the other one. If you don't trust me, go see Calaveras. He'll tell you the same thing. Oh, she would say that. That sounded sensible. Why did she always have to sound sensible all the time? Oh, it was infuriating. Of course she would say that. He was supposed to hurry and bring the Sky Ripper to the council so the rebels could actually win the war. But what if she was right? Damn it.
So these are two paths we've never taken before, so we can go see Calaveras, or we can go straight to the rebels. kind of already know what Calaveras will actually already say, so I think if anything, we'll just take it to the rebels, because we're intentionally going for a bad ending here.
Just this once, he would not let Zenobia get into his head with her logic and her wisdom and her appeals to reason. He was a fox. He'd go with his instincts, and it would all work out like it always did. Oh, he was sounding like a reckless idiot, even to himself. But if there was one thing Renato could never bring himself to do, it was turn back on a decision he'd made.
But I definitely say, like, this is a game I would give a
Imperials
child.
were flapping and cawing all around the ruins. They must be panicking with rumors flying of the superweapon. Maybe they hoped to find and destroy the base before he could put the Skyripper into action. The Skyripper was whining and heating up. It would be time to use that energy soon. She's the Raven one, talking to her son. Is that right? You don't call? Get it? I just made that up.
Yeah, but having a core here that does all the firing for you, that's pretty nice. Although I do notice one little error on the core. Only one of the little trails on its spike is going. I don't know why.
Ever used. Renato had never had a super weapon before. He'd single-handedly taken down an Imperial base. He felt good. He'd resisted all the distractions that were thrown in his path. He couldn't wait to attack the enemy fleet.
That is so overpowered.
What was Zenobia talking about? This was a fantastic weapon. Ravens burst into flames with just a touch of its killer beam. He was tempted to leave it on all the time, but he didn't want to accidentally slice off some council toad's head or tongue. She'd been trying to distract him. Well, this time, no one was going to distract him. These things could really use a hand.
Give me a break here. Come on. There we go.
Long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Ravens are set on fire.
And if you actually skip through all the chests and stuff, like I said, I don't need to actually get any more upgrades. Once everything's unlocked, you can actually go through these stages pretty quickly. I'd say you could probably get maybe an ending done in 45 minutes.
As he headed towards the council chamber, Renato felt everyone watching him. "You've saved the rebellion," said the council speaker. "Frankly, we were afraid you'd turn aside to save that idiot Lapino." "Not bloody likely," Renato told them, feeling he was maybe being a bit harsh on the poor mad rabbit. "If you never make sacrifices," he said, "you're probably not doing the right thing." The speaker nodded. "Are you ready to lead the charge?" "Let's roll," he said, with grim satisfaction. Renato set sail for the fleet. The Skyripper had lost its whine. It was humming now, as if it had taken some time to seat properly. He had always been irresponsible. This time, he'd done the right thing, made the hard decisions. He was a real hero. He hadn't let himself be distracted by old friends or old lovers turned enemies. Finally, he could be proud of himself.
If I get the same ending, I'll actually be shocked. Because it feels like I'm running into the same ending. Like, I've made different decisions. I mean, the base decisions, they were the same. Just actually complete the Sky River completely.
He was ready. So was Sky River. The Sky River had a will of its own. It picked out its own targets and set them on fire. This was going to be a short battle. He would set the ships on fire if he didn't need them to get to the Emperor. And he wondered if he'd see Zenobia, or if she'd flee. Wouldn't she be proud of him? At least, a bit of respect. He'd become an all-conquering hero.
I don't think that's how that works.
Haven't you always wanted to do that?
Time manipulation's always been fun. Keep on going.
This was much easier than free climbing.
I wonder if you actually could speedrun this game. That's not the right one. Oh, that's actually a lot faster now that it's finally upgraded. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's... Why couldn't they give you that speed at the start? The moment I forged this Void Blade.
Thank you.
Again, the Skyrim is basically doing all the job, doing all the work for me. Oh, gonna fire? Okay.
Parchment on a signpost. It was from her. Every time you fire, you risk the destruction of the universe. That's insane. We surrender. He'd done it. He'd played chicken with Zenobia and won. He could hear the horns blaring the retreat. She was wiser than he was, that was for sure. But wisdom didn't win battles.
Wait, then why am I still going? I'm still gonna fire this bloody core. Although I don't see how I'm gonna get a 60-hit combo now with the upgraded talents. Especially now that I have the instant kill option, or the instant kill talent unlocked. Yeah, but I don't know if you could speedrun. Well, it would also depend on how many glitches. But I don't think this game. The game actually did. I did come across a glitch, but it was only a graphical glitch. Hello? Okay. I guess we're going up this way then. read that. Anything else? Oh, nope, here we go.
And there was Zenobia, wearing the white robes of surrender. She came and kneeled before him. Why didn't you listen to me? I was trying to save you too. You're the enemy, he said. I was never your enemy, Renato. And he realized, not for the first time, how much she loved him. Then she spoke a terrible word and made a gesture with her hand. She stopped moving, covered in frost, and he wondered why she'd frozen herself. Then the Sky Ripper froze, and then, for a moment, he felt very cold and discovered that he couldn't move. The next thing he knew, the sun was a giant, monstrously red. It took up half the sky, and he was in a parched red desert. And then he was on fire.
Wait, what? Renato Newcomb. What kind of hero are you? A hero who does not let anything get in the way of his mission. Yeah, so I guess if anything, any of the missions, no matter what ending you originally get, it'll always reveal a truth. You just need to unlock one of them. So, if anything, I bet if I went through the story again without any of the knowledge, I would be able to find out, like, okay, Zenobia loves, loves Renato. Huh. Okay, so basically there is a way to effectively get a bad ending, to get the rest of the bad ending. So there is only one path, but you still need... I don't know if you actually can beat this game in just one run. I'm honestly curious about that. Because without the foresight or knowledge from at least failing a mission, or discovering one of the truths, so I guess you do need all four. Because in the way the first one played out, there was a new option for me to actually to select from. I could select. Primarily knowing that Lupino is a traitor, though. Huh. But definitely, though, regardless of what path you choose, definitely looks like you'll always discover a truth. And then, when it's whenever I guess you want to try and discover the hero path. Obviously, you can still make mistakes. I still say it kind of sucks that they do, like, say, it's like, here is the way to start the final, to unlock the final truth, to unlock the true ending of it. Something tells me, though, you could still screw up within that path. So I think, I'm curious, though, if there is actually... You know what? We have time, we got 20 minutes. Let's actually see. You know what? Really? No narration or anything like that? This brings us back to the book.
The clouds parted over the isle.
Huh, it does.
Of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it
I want to
safely.
try something.
Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster.
I want to try
Maybe
something.
he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. And he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
Wait, what didn't you think of that way? The getting the finding the fastest way to get the true ending, or what I'm about to test, which is basically see if you can, regardless what path you choose, you'll get the final ending regardless.
Renato finally realized that Lapino was a traitor to the cause, and maybe Renato could use that somehow. Renato couldn't quite put his paw on when he'd realized Lapino was working for the Empire. He'd never exactly seen Lapino sending coded messages to the palace, but he was sure. The rabbit had been on too many disastrous missions where he was the only survivor, or where he accidentally missed getting on the boat that went down to the abyss in flames. If Renato could prevent Lapino from getting back to the fleet with all the intelligence he'd probably gathered, it might be worth the trip.
Okay, so basically see if you could get the final ending regardless of what path you choose by choosing the first option. So we're about to try. I think it would be nice to see if this actually unfolds.
How had they come to this? They'd been on so many adventures together. Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
Only 2? Okay, I guess the Sky Ripper's just with me forever. That's a little odd. I mean, I'm not complaining.
But he'd always felt that the rabbit resented him. Lapino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper. Was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
Let's speed through this level. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to go through the game with such gusto.
There was still no sign of Lapino. Not a hair, not a pellet. Was he hiding in the cemetery further down the road? That didn't seem like him. Betray him. The core was dangerous. And Renato had a fleeting idea that the 2 ideas went together somehow. And then it was gone again. Damn ideas. They never stuck around.
No, I'm actually glad I invested in all my stamina.
Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The ravens are coming. Now, I got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky River was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Isengrim III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, That was it.
Let's just call him a traitor right away. Denounce the traitor!
Me? A traitor? I'm hurt, said Lapino. Why ever would you say that? We found your code book, said Renato. They hadn't, but he hoped Lapino would blow his cover. You got me, said Lapino. And you know what? I don't regret a thing. It's always about you, isn't it? You're the pretty hero. You get the girl, you get the medal, and what do I get? Rabbit food. I thought you liked rabbit food. Go to hell, said Lapino. And he made a gesture, and 20 ravens came out of nowhere and stabbed Renato to death. He had tried something bold and paid the price for it.
Alright, we have learned that you cannot do that. I don't even think that's actually a proper ending.
How had they come to this? They'd been on so many adventures together. Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
What? Okay, so I guess there is only one path. It's very unfortunate.
He always felt that the rabbit resented him. Lapino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper. Was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
Actually, one more thing, actually.
What was behind that door? Renato's nose told him there was treasure there. They must have forgotten it in a hurry. Surely they wouldn't mind if he helped himself to it. After all, he wouldn't even know.
Still want to go and take care of, try that again. Not obviously declare him a traitor, because that would just get me killed. Let's jump down. I do like that all roads somehow in this game lead to Rome. You know, granted, there's only probably, like, in reality, there's only actually, like, maybe 1 or 2 paths, but still. It's nice. Now let's actually wait and get some stamina back.
Those flames really bring out your eyes. Ravens were landing everywhere from dropships. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lapino first, the rabbit would give the Empire all the intelligence he'd been stealing from the rebellion.
Oh.
They'd probably give him. He'd have to be very careful about how he played Lapino. At the slightest danger, the mad rabbit would take off like a rabbit.
Hi, Lapino. Let's talk again.
Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The ravens are coming. Now,
A skip option would also be nice to have.
Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky Ripper was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Lysander III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, that was it. Renato felt like a real hero, brave and smart. He told the rabbit all about the Sky Ripper's God's Eye core. "I'll go get the core while you attack Zenobia," he told the rabbit. "Wait, I've an even better idea. I'll get the core and you attack Zenobia," said the rabbit. "Right, yeah, that is better," agreed Renato. Perfect. The traitor would make sure the Emperor got the core. Now Renato just needed the Emperor to use the core.
Circle button lets you skip some of these, but never prompts you. That would definitely help speed up everything. Thank you, Casatino. You know, that's another funny thing, actually, I've noticed, is it'll give me the whenever I have the choices, it'll bring up the PlayStation button, the triangle.
Now, all Renato had to do was fight
But
his way through Zenobia's invading
then it'll
troops,
transition to
sneak onto
the
her ship
360
and into her bedroom and
setup.
kidnap her without any of her dozens of guards alerting her. Then he would rely on her love for him to convince her how evil her father was, so she'd run away with him instead of going back to her father, who was going to blow himself up. It did sound a little risky. But Renato had a feeling it would work out somehow. It always did.
Well, it all depends. I mean, for God's sakes, what was it? B. You know, yes, someone's like, oh, where's the, you know, what? Press X. You know, let's just use that as the standard step. Quickly, press X. Which X do you mean?
Burn.
So you get a lot of different button combinations from this game, and honestly, it just really comes from me just using the. You need to go this way. I don't need just stopping for everything, but I don't need any of it. Jump down. I think that's the fastest. I think this is the fastest route.
Who are you looking at? Oh, right. No one.
There we go. Wait, what? Did I... Is this the right way? Okay, that's the right way.
Renato was halfway to Zenobia's encampment when Lapino showed up. He was disheveled and distraught. They jumped us. I barely got away. Oh, they got the core. Oh, it was all going according to plan, thought Renato. Now he just needed Zenobia on his side. Yes, that was even better. The Iblis Stone. Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait, no. The gem would corrupt anyone, even her. That's it, he thought. Even Lapino. Even though Lapino was already a traitor. It would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor. He would try to make himself Emperor. And the Emperor would have to defend himself with the core. Boom. He was a super genius.
So now we're going to choose the wrong decision completely. So we're going to send Zenobia for the Iblis Stone.
And so, Bernardo set about getting himself captured by Zenobia to turn her against her father. Once she knew the truth about her father's plans for her, he sent her to fetch the Iblis Stone. Unfortunately, once she had it, the Iblis Stone took hold of her. In a rage, she decided to assassinate her father and become Empress. Renato pursued her to the final battle to stop her becoming evil. Zenobia slew the Emperor. Lapino shot Zenobia. Renato killed Lapino. Bittersweet victory was at hand, but then the core exploded, destroying both the Imperial and Rebel fleets. Death, Dark Ages, the usual thing. He tried something bold and paid the price for it.
I like how it just uses the Dark Souls. You have died. Okay, so basically what we've learned is you can make a wrong decision in the final campaign. Because technically the game's narrative does actually tell you what you should be doing.
Zenobia's invading troops, sneak onto her ship and into her bedroom and kidnap her without any of her dozens of guards alerting her. Then he would rely on her love for him to convince her how evil her father was. So
you can, I guess. Actually, no. We have one other thing we actually do have to do. Now that I think about it,
it did sound a little risky.
We're gonna do one other thing.
But Renato had a
because that was just a middle choice, and that didn't take us too long. It
always did.
We're gonna try one more thing, and that thing is we're gonna send Lapino to go get the Iblis core. And then we're gonna make the wrong decision with Zenobia. I know, that's kind of a letdown, honestly, the way they handled it. Like, I was honestly expecting some gigantic battle. Oh, I guess I actually don't have to jump down. I guess that isn't faster. Or I actually do, because it's actually blocked.
Renato was halfway to Zenobia's encampment.
See, that didn't take too long at all to actually go through this.
He was disheveled and distraught. They jumped us. I barely got away. Oh, they got the core. Oh, it was all going according to plan, thought Renato. Now he just needed Zenobia on his side. Yes, that was even better. The Iblis Stone. Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait. No. The gem would corrupt anyone. Even her. That's it, he thought. Even Lapino. Even though Lapino was already a traitor. It would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor. He would try to make himself Emperor. And the Emperor would have to defend himself with the core.
See, this is like... I would say this is actually a better game to show for good writing. You know.
This is terrible, Renato told the rabbit. If only I had gone for the Iblis Stone. But now it's lost in enemy territory. He handed Lapino a map. It gives the bearer so much power. We can only hope the Emperor never finds it. What was that? Said Lapino. I think someone's following us. I didn't hear anything. Rabbit ears. You go on ahead. I'll check it out. And with that, Lapino hopped off with the map.
So I think this game actually has really good storytelling. You know, I know a lot of other games usually gets high praise. If I could swing the sword. It wouldn't be fun if I didn't throw myself in the action. There we go.
Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. She was curled up on her bed. He'd forgotten how beautiful she was, how sleek, how soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She was made of smoke, and he noticed he had a very solid blade to his throat. Did you really think you could capture me? Heard a familiar voice. I just wanted to chat, said Renato. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He needs a sacrifice, someone who truly loves him, to make a bargain with the lost gods. That's a vicious lie. He wants to bring them back. That's crazy. Why would anyone... They could make him immortal. An eater of souls. And with that, her eyes widened. She understood. Renato told her how he had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred. How he had slept...
So once again, we're actually going to choose the wrong choice.
Midnight, the Emperor's victims had come to him in his dreams to tell him of the hideous eldritch rituals they'd been sacrificed in. He could still see those kittens and puppies. Their wide, sad eyes, their moist noses. You can't prove that. I've got a witness at the observatory.
Oh, right. I have to go through one more stage. Completely forgot. So we do have to one more stage, but that shouldn't take too long. Yeah, the storytelling, yeah, like I said, I think this actually is, I'd say the other criticism of those, because even though this game, I think, has really, really good writing, it's fundamental. But without that...
Not yet. Why he was really here. He didn't want her to be anywhere near the fleet when her father blew himself and Lupino up. So he told her about how the Emperor's obscene rituals had raised ancient artifacts out of the land. How he'd followed the appalling trail of the hideous horrors His Majesty had perpetrated for the sake of his own immortality. Any of this ring a bell? He said. He told me it was all lies. You've always known when I was lying.
Let me actually just skip this here. Because it's fundamental, like I said, this is a game I really would give to a kid.
Bridges and stairs.
You know, I think a child would have a really, really good time with this type of game.
The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up.
I mean, it's no Secret of Mana or anything, but
ordered been massacred for one book.
I'd say in terms of like the style and the tone and the storytelling, it does a solid job.
What the Emperor had done to them.
I think a kid, in terms of the gameplay, it would actually be challenging enough for them. Damn it.
Don't you think I'd know if my father started
No, you wouldn't know your father practicing black magic. But I think the game, like other games, like Final Fantasy VI, Secret of Mana, it wasn't afraid to do the, be a little bit dark, be a little bit terrible. Although I will say, this is a lot more straightforward, because it's being told from the perspective of the narrator. And that's, but, like I said, it still does a competent job. Is there anything? Okay, there is something. Fighting was not perfect. Now why not? Although I will say, compared to a game like Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy VI, this is obviously a lot shorter. And the observatory's burned. So this is where we'll end things off once we make this decision.
Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The Ravens had taken special care to burn the reanimated. So, Renato explained his brilliant gambit. Sending Lupino to get the Iblis Stone, become super powerful and corrupted, provoke the Emperor into using the core against him, thus blowing up both of them, and hopefully the fleet too. Let me visit your council, she said, shaken. I want to help. Could he really trust her?
So we're gonna actually select the other option here. We're going to lie to her.
She said she had an errand to run, so they met up sometime later in the mountains. She seemed different. It seems she'd gone and knocked Lapino out with drowsy gas and taken the Iblis stone from him. Whoa, what? No, that wasn't the plan. I know. Your plan was terrible. Now where's the council? Couldn't we just go somewhere? Quiet, Talk this over? You lying son of a bitch. They're not here. The sword was bloody. I told you the truth. Well, mostly. I'm going to kill my father now. But first, I'm going to kill you. And that is exactly what she did. He tried something bold and paid the price for it.
Yeah, so basically, there is only one right path once you start the final story. So then, okay, so then what this game tells me then, you cannot beat the game until you discover all the truths then. So it's impossible.
He couldn't.
So you have to go through the story.
Why he was
you have to go through the game 5 times at least.
He didn't want her to be anywhere near the fleet when her father blew him.
Let's actually go to the main menu here. And once you're stuck in the final story, you are committed to that final story. But hey, at least the very least you can have fun screwing around, unlocking all the other stories, because that's obviously going to be an achievement in this game. Find all the horrible, horrible ways you die. Reynardo Newcomb, the missing ingredient, the awakening, the Sky Rover's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't think twice. Alright, well, that's been about 2 hours here. That wraps it up for us. I'm glad I was able to beat one more game before the end of the year for 2016. I don't know what I'll be doing tomorrow. I'll have to think about it. Might be, I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to do a little more Overwatch, but we'll see. We'll see. Might be another game, actually, since this was a lot shorter than I thought it would be, but, like I said, I could easily see a child, actually, going through the... Well, actually, no, I couldn't, because once you... If the game didn't show that you're to start the final mission, to do the hero's path at the very start, I think this game would be a lot more amazing, because since this game is effectively taking the Choose Your Own Adventure book quite literally, I think it should have played it that way, where you would obviously make mistakes and you would have to, as an individual, discover it. They could have left the whole, like, you have to unlock all 4 truths, which is honestly very easy to do. It really isn't that difficult, with a little bit of logic, or you're focused on the characters. But to actually discover, okay, the true path, and have the other, and have it mix in with all the other stories, like, you could still, you could still screw up and get one of the other stories. I think that would have made this game a little bit more dynamic. But other than that, though, as it is, though, the way they design and stuff, it's a solid game. I would definitely recommend it for any kid, and actually any other person who's looking for, a nice, easy hack and slash game with a nice narrative. But that's gonna do it for me tonight. Let's actually see here 1 second. Let me see if anyone's actually... I know that's streaming here right now. Nope. Huh. No, there's no way. No way he's live. Yeah, nah. I'm not gonna send a host that he's probably actually done for the night. Alright. I think that'll do it for me. It doesn't look like Flat Flag is streaming as of yet. It's starting a lot later than normal. That's odd. He usually starts promptly at 10. I wonder what's going on. Nah. It is the Christmas season, after all. People get really busy and have to do Christmas shopping, which I've thankfully been slowly working on that list as well. Hopefully you have too. But until then, though, I will see you tomorrow. We'll see what it'll be. If I can't figure out anything, it'll probably just be a couple hours of Overwatch, because I've been getting into that again, and why not try for Masters, since I'm already committed to Diamond, and why not hopefully unlock a couple of those holiday skins. But until then, though, Thank you very much for watching. And until then, take care.